I've worked on a film called Bodied, which hasn't released yet. It's Joseph Kahn's feature film. I did a little bit of work on Venom, Ozark. I've worked on a film called Mom's Night Out. That's a Sony movie. And Burning Sands, which is a Netflix feature film that actually won quite a few awards at Sundance 2 years ago.
Hi, and welcome to Kelly, where we talk about life, your life and my life, and through Kelly, we hope to inspire. I have Austin Lewis on the show today. Austin Lewis is you like that? It's like a
that was
I was doing
like
my
an
wrestling.
action-packed like announcer type. Like in this corner we have
Exactly.
in the blue shorts. I guess
That's what I was going for. Austin is a AC. He works on professional sets. He's worked with people such as Shane Hurlbutt. And explain to us what the ASC is.
Okay, so I've worked with cinematographers such as Shane Hurlbutt, Darius Kanji, Matthew Wise. The list goes on and on. But some of them have been graced with the signatory of ASC, which stands for the American Society of Cinematographers. So it's a very prestigious club that you get into as a cinematographer. That basically means you have been recognized by the society and as the industry as a whole that you have committed yourself to the craft and actually offered something to the craft, whether it's just through technical prowess or artistic value or even inventing, something or a craft. So fortunately, some of the cinematographers that I have worked with have been inducted into that club.
Nice. And an AC is assistant camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what kind of things do you do as assistant?
So as the first AC, I kind of liken it to the first AD of the camera department.
Okay.
So we're handling logistics, technical problems, and just the day-to-day actions, the hiring, the crewing up of the department. So we handle those things, and then on top of that, we also pull focus. So a lot of people think it's kind of funny, like you have to focus the camera. It's like, dude, my iPhone has autofocus. Why do you have to have a whole person on set whose job it is just to pull focus? And the answer is, stills hasn't caught up to
Well, you have a separate device to pull that focus.
Well, first of all, it's a larger sensor. It is something that is very artistic. As a focus puller, you are directing the attention span and the overall experience of the film to the audience. Mm-hmm. So if two people are talking and you're going to be directed your focus onto one person, you're going to react to a different person in the background as they come into our field of view. That is the type of thing that I do. Mm-hmm. In those situations, it's more on the nose. It's something that you notice. But there are a lot of times when you have action scenes. Say there's a car crash or a fight or someone's jumping through a ball of fire. Those things can only be done once, twice, maybe 3 times.
Right.
So you want to make sure you get those things in the can, so to speak, and that it's done well. So those are the times where the focus puller is kind of invisible, but they're a crucial part of making sure that the shot is actually usable for the movie.
What are some movies you've worked on?
Oh, wow. I've worked on a film called Bodied, which hasn't released yet. It's Joseph Kahn's feature film. I did a little bit of work on Venom, Ozark. I've worked on a film called Mom's Night Out. That's a Sony movie. And Burning Sands, which is a Netflix feature film that actually won quite a few awards at Sundance 2 years ago. Wow, the list keeps going.
You said you had to pull up your IMDb to remember all the films.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm fortunate that I have been working consistently. I think I've done about 25 features, 170 or so music videos, 200 or so commercials.
Wow.
Over the years. So it's kind of been a wild ride. It definitely
So
has.
I went to a workshop that you did here in Atlanta, or you were the host of, and you, I left there on fire after you,
Awesome.
after hearing you, and it really really changed my viewpoint on the way I was teaching as an acting coach, really the speed that goes on in the professional world. And I was like, that's the dynamic I need to be teaching is the speed of it. We don't have time for you to wait and get in character. We don't have time for you to stop and rebuild your your equipment. And you were talking about breaking down your camera and you could do it with 90 seconds?
Oh yeah, everything should be able to done within 60 seconds. There are exclusions, for that. But one thing I usually do, I'm going to go on a experiment here. So this is something that I usually tell people when they first want to get into film or specifically camera department. So let's say we're working on a $25 million movie, right? We're going to shoot that over 35 days. That means we're spending $714,000 per day. On a good production, you're going to be working 12 hours, which means $59,000 an hour. There's 60 minutes in an hour, so I'm going to divide that by 60, and that is $992 per minute. If you really want to get technical, we can divide that by 60 again to the second, and every single time you blink, it's $16.53.
Going out the window.
Going out the window.
Right.
So if we're having to wait because a camera went down, or we're shooting over here, and now we're going to go over there and grab a shot. My job is to find the ways that we can always be rolling and minimize the time that we're down. Because, that's a $25 million movie. They get bigger than that.
Right, yeah.
100, 150, I've never done a $200 million movie, but they exist.
Right.
So that's the driving force behind everything that I do.
Yeah.
So what I've done in the past is, the only thing I can really ask of myself and other people is to never make the same mistake twice.
And how hard is that?
It can be hard, but at the end of the day, it's very simple. If you write it, you ingest it, and you read and react. Okay. So what I've put together, I've played sports all my life. And there's always a playbook. There's always a Bible, so to speak, that you're going to, that you can reference to ground yourself in every situation. So you're not thinking that, you're not forgetting that this isn't the first time that you've seen this situation. So what I've done is every single time I learn something, which is every day, I write it in my phone, and then I go home and I write it in my book. So that way you never make the same mistake twice.
Right.
That is absolutely the number one thing that I can give as a piece of advice to anyone, no matter what the craft is. If you're an actor, a comedian, a driver, it doesn't matter. A short order cook.
Start you a playbook.
Start you a playbook,
Yeah.
After you played everything, you wipe the edges just so everything is just right. So when you present that dish to your customer, you don't have chocolate smears around the edges.
And
things
then
like
by
that.
the end of your career, you're working on a $2 million, you're working up in that high budget because you're pushing yourself to get better and better every time, and eyes are upon you wherever you are.
You know where I learned that, actually? I had an acting coach. I acted for all about 45 seconds.
Okay.
But in that time, I did have an acting coach. And he was actually speaking about getting into character. He's like, sometimes people, they got to get into a headspace, they got to do this, they do push-ups, they listen to music, whatever it is. But when it comes down to it, when you're on the set, when that time is now gone and it's time to bring that character to fruition, he just said the word action. And after he said the word action for our exercises, he would start snapping his fingers. And $50, $50, $50, and $50.
That's what I did in class.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, when the director yells action, you've got to be able to go for it as an actor. And so when I heard that piece of advice and had him snapping at me, $50, $50, that's $150, that's $200.
Right.
Just because it's the moment of silence for you to get into character. He was like, that's inefficient. That's not the most positive representation of a professional that you can give yourself, or it's not the best form of respect you can give to your director, your AD, your producers.
Right.
So as an actor, you want to be lovable, you want to be talented, you want to be creative, but you also want to be respectful.
Right.
So that's the other aspect of filmmaking that I really took home from that one acting class that I did. So I think it's wildly beneficial to kind of peek behind the curtains of the other disciplines that we rub shoulders with and not necessarily train beside, but we work beside.
Respect each other in that,
Right.
respect each other in the different elements that fit together, because we all need each other.
We do.
I have for you
Oh my
just
gosh.
some candies to remind you, Austin, you're a gift in life. You're a gift in my life. Just that, I don't even know how long you were speaking at that workshop. I don't know if it was 45 minutes or an hour, but anybody that comes into my presence, I try to, one, add value to them, and I try to take something away, something away that I can bring to my students. And you gave us something, and that was time. It reminded me of time, and really, really, time is everything. When you break that down into, I can go into that, but I'm not going to. So let's just really quick, what are improvisational skills? And we're running out of time. So how important is that to your profession?
It's astronomical. If you can never make the same mistake twice and maintain a sense of preparedness, but still be improvisational in your approach, that is insane. So always have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and never let anyone know when you're transitioning from one to the next.
I love that.
That is the thing that instills confidence in the people that you're working with.
Right.
So if plan A doesn't work, great. I have plan B already rolled up and it's already in action.
Right.
And
when it comes down to it, your experience will get you through, because if you've really done the work, it's gonna show.
Yeah, I've had a mentor of mine tell me that experience is defined by the size of the hole that you can dig and still get yourself out of.
Yes.
So when I heard that, I was like, you never want to dig a hole intentionally.
Right.
But sometimes in life, the weather changes or your car breaks down or whatever, anything in life. That's a hole that kind of the situation digs, and you only have experience to get yourself out of there.
Right.
That's the ladder, the proverbial ladder to climb out of that hole.
Yeah, so be a person who's going to get out of the hole. And advice to give to an upcoming filmmaker.
Yeah, I would definitely say the best advice I got was from John Landau. He's the producer of the Titanic. I got to have a one-on-one with him maybe about 9 years ago. And I had this situation that I was really nervous about jumping into filmmaking. And he said, just go for it. He's like, you're young and you're dumb. You don't get the two of those, but one time in your life. You can be dumb all your life, but you're never going to be young and dumb at the same time, but once in your life. So I would say, even if you're 40 years old, I would say highly consider your dreams and your aspirations. Make a list that are achievable, actionable things that you can work towards each day, and knock something out on that list every single day.
Yeah. I think as human beings, one of the things that keeps us out of depression and out of lulls is to do things that we fear. And we're not going to die. We can try.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't end up where you are, but you can still have a good time and still create and give back to your environment. So thank you for being here. I want to talk to you all day long. I could go on and on, but unfortunately my director gives me 10 minutes. So sometimes I go over that. But if you guys have any questions for Austin, please go and put them in the comments and look up his IMDb. He is amazing.